just to measure yourself and to steward over this correctly. First of all, I do want to say, I do not think it's wrong for a single woman to want to get married. And I'm not going to have the approach that, you shouldn't, you just be about God's business and don't think about a man. Don't expect, desire. I'm not telling you to shut it down. I actually one of the things that I was telling a group of women maybe a couple of weeks ago was, I actually want you to pull the romance part of yourself up, whether you have one or not, and think about how you feel about the fact that you are single. And you have to live in a reality world. When you suppress stuff, it is very unhealthy. And I think one of the things women have done is they have become so extreme, because either women are gullible. I mean, it's like, oh my God, you just let anybody through these gates. Or women get super extreme, and there has to be a medium. There has to be wisdom in between both. And, an unequal balance is not good. It's not healthy for you. And so when you go to one extreme or the other, it creates a lot of problems when you do that. And so with everything that goes on in our life, we should steward well, and we should learn how to manage it. We don't suppress it. We don't just leave it hanging all out, but we manage it the same way you manage your appetite, your food, your, whatever it is that you're doing. I like to exercise, but I don't want to be a fanatic where I'm exercising 5 times a day. I have to manage still my body, even with exercise. And so it's good, but it's still, you can't go extreme. Same with eating, you have to manage it. And so this is an area where if you have a crush on a dude, or, you're liking a guy, you have to learn how to manage it. And so many women suppress it, and they completely shut down. And what happens is they build a wall up. Now, the Bible never tells you to build a wall up for your heart. So if you have a wall up when it comes to relationships, or when it comes to men, being able to approach you, then that's bad. You know why? Because when you have a wall, nothing good or nothing bad can get through. Okay, nothing can get through. And so even the healthy stuff is not going to get through to you. And God forbid, if you do build a wall up and the right guy comes along, you build a wall up from somebody else, and then because of somebody else, and then when someone good comes along, as a result of the past, they can't get through. The Bible is specific, and the Bible tells you to guard your heart with diligence. It did not say to build a wall up. There's a difference between having a wall and having a guard. Having a guard is like, let's say you playing a video game. I don't know. There's a lot of video games out there, and there's different stuff coming towards you. Say it's an eating game. You got bananas and apples and stuff coming towards you. And then say you got stones and poisonous stuff coming towards you. It means when you garden, it means that you know how to, when you have a guard at the gate, you let people through that have the right ID to get through the gates. And so if they show you that their ID, they work there, or they're a police officer or whatever, you let them through. But then if it's a civilian, say if you're in the army, or if it's somebody else who don't have it, then you don't let them through. And so guarding means that you have to discern, you have to manage it. But when you have a wall up, nothing can break through a wall. And so I think a lot of times women have put walls up for the sake of, trying to be, holy, or, I'm not, going into this relationship because he gonna find me. And you know what? Some Christian men, now here's the difference. This is what I've noticed for whatever reason. I don't know why, y'all, but men in the world, they don't typically care as much about walls. They will be as persistent. They will get a rifle and shoot through that mug. Brrr. They are so persistent. I don't know what it is about Christian men a lot of times, but a guy, he will look at it and he will just keep going till he aggravate the crap out of you, pretty much. For whatever reason, Christian men are not like that, and I'm not putting no slight towards them or anything. But when they see a wall built, sometimes they're not going to put forward any energy to be persistent to go through that wall. They're going to immediately be like, no, she ain't, I'm not, you know. And I don't know if y'all have noticed the difference, but I know in the world when men were, I mean, they wouldn't take no for an answer. Like they just kept, you know, but you know, men of God, I don't know. They're not gonna get through them walls. They're not gonna be as persistent. They're not gonna be as aggressive. So you know, when you're handling a man of God, you can't have a wall up. It's going to turn them away. They're not even going to want to put forth the energy to do any of that. And then the other thing I found, and these are just a few preliminaries, is that some people are married, but they're still married to other things like pain. They're married to the pain or what happened to them, their bad experiences. They might even be married to the idea of what happened to their mama or how their father left their mama, and, you know, and so, or how their father cheated on it, you know, so they're married to pain. And so you got to break the soul tie, you know, that you might have with pain and heartache and wounds, and get healed, because you may not even know that you have a wall up, and you may not even know that you have this presence about yourself that is just not accepting to anybody. And so when men come along, they can somehow sense that also on women. And so you gotta definitely break those ties with the pain, with history, and get healed from that stuff, and be transformed and be renewed to a new day. You know, whoever hurt you yesterday don't mean that somebody's gonna hurt you today. Okay. Another preliminary is what I want to say is I believe that it's okay to be friends with the opposite sex. However, you have to have boundaries. You have to have boundaries, because if you ain't got boundaries, you'll fall in love with a three-eyed monster. Okay. If you have a legitimate friend and y'all talking at 2 and 3 and 4 in the morning, and y'all, you know what I mean? Like, you will wind up thinking that this dude is like straight ugly. And then like 5-6 months later, you done somehow fell for this fool. And so, you know, and I'm not trying to call nobody ugly. I'm just saying, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So, you know, I'm just saying somebody who you just are not attracted to, who you would have never, ever, ever dated. And then all of a sudden, because too much communication at the wrong time requires intimacy. Communication demands intimacy. That's why it's hard to have an intimate life, even with your spouse, if there is no consistent communication. So when you don't have boundaries, then you cross those, you know, those borders or whatever. And so you definitely, I believe that it's okay to have friends. I've had, you know, now when you get married, there's no side, you know, we don't believe in the side friend. Like I'm going out with my friend and he's a guy, you know, it just don't work that way. But when I was single, I did have some godly male friends, and the boundaries kept us from not going into those areas. And it, you know, I wasn't attracted to my friends, but again, that's because boundaries are there. You don't know who you wind up falling for if the boundaries are not there. All right. And then the last thing I would say for preliminaries is don't be led by fear, because it just doesn't produce life. You have to be led by wisdom with all of these. And so I'm going to go over 8 different things that you can do that can keep you sane, but not going becoming some fanatic, okay? Because some women are fanatic, and I tell you the truth, people. I tell you the truth. I have known women to fall flat in love with men that have never even asked them out on a date. See, that is extreme and crazy to me. That's like Psychoville 1000, okay? Don't ever fall in love with someone who's never asked you on a date. And I know several, okay? Several. The fantasy realm is so real, it's not even funny. Like to have someone crying their eyes out over a man that has never even said, can I take you out to dinner? I like you, is beyond my imagination. I'm sorry. It is beyond my imagination at 15 years old. I don't even think I did that at 15. And I'm just saying. So I'm just saying, you know, and I'm not saying that to talk about anybody if they have done that. I am telling you that is all dysfunctional. That is as dysfunctional as it gets. And if you have ever had that problem, you need to listen to me, because you don't ever want to wind up going from liking or crushing a guy to falling in love with him. And he's never even said anything to you like, I like you, you know, even if y'all have had conversation. And so it just becomes really wacky. Okay, so we don't want you to get there is all I'm saying. Okay, we don't want you to get there, but we want you to be honest and real with your emotions and know how to handle this. Okay, and not be like, I'm not going to tell you like, girl, just, you know, lay it all down. He's going to find you. Just pray. The Lord is your husband. Go and take a bubble bath and read your Bible. No, I'm not going to tell you that. It's real out here. Okay, sometimes you think a guy is cute, you're around him for maybe a little bit too much, and you like him, and you start crushing him, and you think he's cute. Okay, but we want to